At 62, Demi Moore just broke her silence on what Ashton Kutcher did to her, and it is worse than anyone realized. There is a photograph of her from this year that tells you everything. She is standing alone on a red carpet. No man beside her, no ring on her finger, and for the first time in decades, no apology in her eyes. But what most people miss when they see that photo is what it took to get there. The miscarriage she blamed herself for. The threesomes she agreed to because she thought it would save her marriage. The Google alert that told her the truth before her husband did. And the night she almost did not survive. This is not a story about a celebrity divorce. This is a story about a woman who gave everything to a man 15 years younger. A man who promised her forever. A man who broke her in ways she is only now ready to talk about. This is what really happened between Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher. To understand why Demi trusted Ashton the way she did, you have to understand the life she was running from. Demi Jean Guyens was born in 1962 in Roswell, New Mexico. Her birth certificate listed a man named Charles Harmon as her father. But there was a problem. Charles left her mother 2 months before Demi was born. He never even held her. Her mother, Virginia, married a man named Danny Guyens. And for a while, Demi believed he was her real father. She called him Dad. She trusted him. Then one day, when she was 13 years old, a boy on her school bus asked her a question that changed everything. He asked her how it felt to know her father was not really her father. Demi went home that night. She found her birth certificate, and she saw it for herself. The man who raised her was not the man who gave her life. Her entire foundation cracked in a single afternoon. But that was not the worst of it. Her mother, Virginia, struggled with addiction and mental health. The family moved 48 times before Demi turned 14. 48 different addresses. 48 fresh starts that never stuck. When Demi was 15 years old, she came home from school and found her mother on the floor. Virginia had swallowed an entire bottle of pills. Demi pried open her mother's mouth, put her fingers down her throat, and pulled the pills out one by one. She saved her mother's life that day, but something inside Demi broke. And then came the betrayal that would shape every relationship she ever had. Virginia took $500 from a man. In exchange, she gave him access to Demi, her own daughter. Demi found out later. She confronted her mother, and Virginia denied it. She said she did not know what the man planned to do, but Demi knew the truth. She had the $500 as proof. At 16, she dropped out of high school. At 17, she married a musician named Freddie Moore just to escape. The marriage lasted 3 years. It was survival, not love. By 20 years old, Demi Moore was twice abandoned by fathers, assaulted with her mother's knowledge, divorced, and on her own. And yet somehow, she climbed. She got a role on a soap opera called General Hospital. She beat out over 1,000 other actresses for the part. She was raw, she was hungry, and she was good. Then came St. Elmo's Fire, but there was a catch. The director Joel Schumacher gave her an ultimatum: get sober or get fired. So she did. She checked into rehab, she got clean, and she came out on the other side. Ghost made her a star. The film earned over $500 million worldwide. That pottery scene became one of the most iconic moments in cinema history, and Demi became a household name. Then came striptease. The studio paid her $12.5 million. At the time, she was the highest paid actress in Hollywood history. A woman who had been sold by her own mother for $500 was now worth more than any actress alive. And then she met Bruce Willis. They married in 1987. 3 daughters followed: Rumor, Scout, and Tallulah. For over a decade, Demi and Bruce were Hollywood's golden couple. They seemed happy, they seemed stable, they were raising their girls together. But the marriage ended in 2000. Demi was 38 years old. She had the career, she had the money, she had the children, but she did not have love. And then in 2003, everything changed. Demi Moore walked into the premiere of Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. She was 40 years old, she had been divorced for 3 years, and she was not looking for anyone. But someone was looking at her. Ashton Kutcher was 25 years old. He was the star of That 70s Show. He was charming, handsome, and completely unafraid of the age gap. That same night, he got her number. The next day, he called. They talked on the phone for 8 hours. Not 20 minutes, not an hour. 8 hours. By the 3rd week, he had already met her daughters. By the 3rd month, they were inseparable. The tabloids went wild. A 15-year age gap. An older woman with a man young enough to be, well, not her son, but close. People called it a midlife crisis. People called it a publicity stunt. But Demi believed it was real. Ashton proposed on a beach in 2005. The ring cost $250,000, and when he asked her, she said yes without hesitation. They married in a private ceremony at their Beverly Hills home. 100 guests attended. Bruce Willis was there. He even cried during the ceremony. For a while, it looked like Demi had finally found her happy ending. She had blended her family. She had found a partner who adored her publicly, and she had something she had never had before: trust. But trust is the cruelest thing to lose, because you do not see it leaving until it is gone. The first crack came quietly. Demi and Ashton tried to have a baby together. She got pregnant. 6 months in, she felt something was wrong. The doctors confirmed it. There was no heartbeat. She had to deliver the baby she would never hold. Demi blamed herself. She wondered if her past substance abuse had caused it. She wondered if she was being punished for something. She spiraled into guilt and grief. They tried IVF after that. Once, twice, it did not work. And somewhere in the middle of all that pain, Ashton asked her for something. He wanted threesomes. Demi said yes. She thought if she gave him what he wanted, it would bring them closer. She thought it would prove she was still exciting, still desirable, still enough. But it did the opposite. Every time, she felt smaller. Every time, she felt more desperate. And every time, she hated herself a little more. She did it anyway. Because she loved him, because she was terrified of losing him, because part of her still believed that love meant sacrifice, even if the sacrifice was herself. And then came the night that broke her, September 24th, 2011. It was their 6th wedding anniversary. Ashton was in San Diego. Demi was at home. She expected a call. Maybe flowers, maybe a plan to celebrate later. Instead, she got a Google alert. The headline said Ashton Kutcher had been spotted leaving a club with a woman named Sarah Leal. Sarah was 22 years old. She had gone back to his hotel room. The details were everywhere. On their anniversary, Demi did not hear it from Ashton. She did not hear it from a friend. She heard it from the internet. Her husband's affair announced by an algorithm, but Sarah Leal was not the first. A few months earlier, Ashton had been with another woman. Her name was Brittany Jones. She was 21. She sold her story to the tabloids. She described their encounter in detail. She said it happened while Demi was out of town. When Demi confronted Ashton about the threesomes, about the cheating, about all of it, he had an answer ready. He said the threesomes blurred the lines. He said she had opened the door, so he walked through it. He blamed her for his betrayal. And the worst part is, for a moment, she believed him. She wondered if he was right. She wondered if she had caused it all. But she had not. She had loved him. She had trusted him. And he had made her feel like the wreckage was her fault. What happened next nearly killed her. After the divorce was announced in November 2011, Demi fell apart. She had been sober for 20 years. 20 years without a drink. 20 years without the pills. 20 years of fighting the demons her mother passed down. But Ashton's betrayal broke something in her that sobriety could not hold. In January 2012, Demi had a seizure at a party. She had been using synthetic cannabis and nitrous oxide. Her body could not take it. She collapsed in front of her friends. Paramedics were called. She was taken to the hospital. The tabloids called it a breakdown, but it was worse than that. It was a woman watching herself disappear. The spiral continued. She started taking vicodin. At her worst, she was taking 12 pills a day. Her weight dropped to 102 pounds, then 98. She could not eat. She could not sleep. She could not recognize herself in the mirror. And her daughters stopped speaking to her. The 3 girls she had raised with Bruce. The 3 girls she had introduced to Ashton. The 3 girls who had called him family. They walked away, not because they did not love her, but because they could not watch her destroy herself. Tallulah said later that it felt like a monster had taken over her mother's body. Rumors said the addiction stole something from her. Scouts said she thought her mother did not love her anymore. For 3 years, Demi was estranged from her own children. She checked into rehab, Cirque Lodge in Utah. $150,000 a month. She did the work. She got clean again. But her daughters were not waiting on the other side. She had lost her husband. She had lost her sobriety. And now she had lost her children too. There was nothing left. But Demi Moore did not die. She did not disappear. And she did not give up. In November 2015, Tallulah made the first move. She reached out. She wanted to try again. Demi and her daughters started family therapy. They went to a retreat in Arizona. They talked about everything: the addiction, the estrangement, the years they had lost. It was not fast. It was not easy, but it worked. By 2022, all 3 daughters were back in her life. They got matching tattoos for Demi's 60th birthday. Mother, the word none of them had been able to say for years. And Bruce Willis returned too. Not as a husband, but as family. When Bruce was diagnosed with aphasia in 2022 and then frontotemporal dementia in 2023, Demi was there. She blended their families together again, not for cameras, not for headlines, but because that is who she is. She also made peace with something she never expected. Mila Kunis, Ashton's wife, the woman who married him after Demi. They are in a book club together now. They send each other texts. They have moved past whatever awkwardness the world expected them to feel. Because Demi Moore at 62 does not have time for grudges. She has learned something most people never do. She calls it solo partnering, not being alone, not being lonely, being complete, without needing someone else to finish the sentence. She does not need Ashton Kutcher's apology. She does not need his regret. She does not need him at all. Because look at where they both are now. Ashton is married again. He has 2 children with Mila. But every interview he gives, there is a shadow behind his eyes. He knows what he did. He admitted in 2023 that he failed at marriage before. He did not name Demi. He did not need to. And Demi? She stood on that red carpet at the Golden Globes in January 2025. She had just been nominated for her role in The Substance. At 62 years old, she was being recognized for the best work of her career. She was not standing next to a man. She was not holding anyone's hand. She was alone. And she was glowing. The girl who was sold for $500. The woman who was cheated on during her anniversary. The mother who lost her children to her own grief. She survived all of it. And now she is telling her story on her own terms. In her memoir, Inside Out, Demi wrote about everything. The childhood trauma, the miscarriage, the threesomes, the cheating, the seizure, the pills, the daughters, the recovery. She did not protect Ashton. She did not sugarcoat what he did. But she did not destroy him either. She simply told the truth. And the truth is this: Ashton Kutcher took a woman who had already been broken by every man in her life, and he broke her again. He took her trust, her body, her sobriety, and her sense of self. He blamed her for his choices, and then he walked away. But Demi Moore did not stay broken. She rebuilt herself at 50. She reconnected with her daughters at 55. She found peace with her ex-husband at 60, and she found herself at 62. She does not need a man to define her. She does not need Hollywood to validate her. She does not need Ashton Kutcher to apologize for what he did. Because the best revenge is not anger. The best revenge is becoming the woman you were always supposed to be. And Demi Moore, at 62, is finally that woman. She is not looking back. She already knows what is behind her. If this story moved you, you need to hear what happened to another Hollywood wife who stood by her man for decades, only to watch him choose someone else. That story is just as shocking, and her revenge was just as sweet. But Demi's story does not end with Ashton. It ends with her, standing alone, at peace, looking forward. She never said a bad word about him publicly. She never dragged him through the mud. She never demanded an apology. She did not have to. His own choices have been speaking for him ever since.